believe it either. I'm just as surprised as you are. I'm just as surprised as you are, man. I'm shocked. I'm flabbergasted. All right. I'm beside myself. I cannot believe we're actually starting on time. Like, I mean, right on time. It's 7 o'clock. So you know what that means. It's time for the victory talk. Let's go. He's starting on time today. I think it's the first time ever that the victory unit has started on time. You know why, Nima? I think we were able to start on time today because the Richard Millet. I think it tells time better. It might make might make me a better person, like more punctual. You know what I'm saying? Because when you spend $200,000 on time, you want to get it right. You want to get it right. Welcome to another episode of Victory Talk. I mean, shit, the first one we've been on time. That shit is like, it's kind of like blowing my mind a little bit. Yeah, I'm kind of like I'm not I don't even know if I'm here. Anyway, I'm not used to this shit. But yeah, man, welcome to another episode of Victory Talk. This is the podcast where we teach you how to build your money, muscle, and what in your mindset. Right? Notice we didn't talk about girls in that intro because once you have all those things, the girls will take care of herself. The girl thing take care of herself. But we will talk about in this episode. One of the things I want to focus on. I know a lot of you guys are young, and I wish somebody would have fucking grabbed me by the neck and told me the shit that I'm gonna teach y'all today when I was in my 20s. I think I'd be a lot further along in life. And I know you're probably thinking further than that. And I'm like, yeah, there is another level. I don't own a private jet as of now. You know what I'm saying? There are levels. There are levels. I'm not a billionaire, right? So there's levels, man. I think I'd be a lot closer to those goals and aspirations if I knew the things that I'm gonna teach you today on this podcast. Before we get into that or anything else, we got to talk about a word from our sponsors. This episode of Victory Talk is brought to you by Thot Repellent. You know what I'm saying? This is the product that we're really trying to bring to the market because the more people who watch Victory Talk podcast, who join the free Discord link in the description, where there's like, I have free courses in there and we're showing you guys how to get, how to improve your money, muscle, and mindset. And then, we have the baller mindset course that's free. I know a lot of you guys have been going through that. The more people do that, all right. Once you go through that and you start improving your life in every aspect, then you won't have to worry about the girls thing. Your only problem with girls is going to be too many of them. Too many girls all over you. You have to shake them off with a stick. You're going to need Thot Repellent. You know what I'm saying? So we initially made this first prototype for me because, I'm out here balling the shot. I got a fucking Richard Millet on my wrist, man. I go outside. But if I go outside without this, I'm going to be swarmed immediately by fucking Miami hoes. I don't want that. I got shit to do. No más chicas, por favor. Right, but now I got the Thot Repellent, and it's like it creates a barricade. It's like almost like a force field, and they're like behind it. They're trying to get I can't get close. And it's like, what this looks like? It's like there'll be a sea of thoughts who run towards me, and it's like I part the Red Sea of thoughts, like when Moses did. But instead of water, it's hose, and so I can walk through. That's what it's like. Now that I got Thot Repellent. Before that, I had to just kind of stay in my penthouse, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'd look over and it'd be like, you might be too young for this reference, but Total Request Live, TRL on MTV when the fucking Backstreet Boys was there and all the hoes would be out in Times Square. That's what it used to be. That's what it's like outside the penthouse. But it's hoes. And that's going to be a problem for you. Once you join the Discord and download Baller Mindset and start improving your life, that's going to be a problem for you, man. Because there's a shortage of ball and shot calling motherfuckers out here in the world. And you'll be one of them once you go through this thing, and you're going to need Thot Repellent. So all your super chats go towards research and development or Thot Repellent. All right. Before we get into any of this stuff, I got a lot I want to cover today. But there's been a lot of balling going on here. There's been a lot of balling going on. And we have a segment of this show where we commemorate people in the baller community who have been balling the hardest. You know what I'm saying? Balling the hardest or balling the most. And we like to call that Baller of the Week. Don't show my screen yet. I got to get it up. Pause. Baller of the Week. All right. So this is where we recognize a member of the baller community who's balling super, super hard. And this week's recipient of the coveted Baller of the Week award goes to this motherfucker. How you say? You know this dude, Nima?
Yeah.
He plays sport.
Soccer.
Okay. All right. Tell me more about this soccer.
So to be honest, I don't watch soccer, but coming from Iran, it's a big thing back there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, but I think his name goes like Mbappe.
What? How you say it? No. How do you say it? How do you say it though?
Mbappe. I have no idea. I know he's French though.
Mbappe?
Actually, he's the same baller, right? He's the that was
Khalifa or something.
Yeah, that was someone else. Yeah,
but this motherfucking got $776 million for 1 year, I believe. You know what I'm saying? Mbappe. Yo, when that's some real baller shit. You get goddamn.
Yeah, they're saying he's Algerian from France.
He's the people know, man.
I know, right?
I have never heard of this motherfucker in my life. But obviously the marketplace has, you know, and even I think like LeBron James, this other foreigner was saying, now I know Giannis, he from Greece. And you look at him and tell he's from Greece, right? And he wished he got some of that money. You know what I'm saying? Who else? Usain Bolt was talking about coming out of retirement. You know what I'm saying? To get some of that bread. Goddamn LeBron James. You know, he speaks, he says, you know, it's fucking Draymond Green. He'll whoop some ass for that money, man. You know, Draymond was beat the shit out of somebody when he heard this. That's just how he responds to good news and bad news. Damian Lillard, he wants some of that bread. It's like shout out to Mbappe. I have no idea how to say this man's name, but he's balling. I never heard. Oh, Mbappe. 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 You know what I'm saying? This person makes a good comment. Messi, another motherfucker I ain't hear of until a few months ago, he got offered a Billy and he said no to come because he wanted to come to America, man. So it's like shout out to Messi. Listen here, I'd have went to Mars for $1 million, for $1 billion. Saudi Arabia. You know, like, God damn, that's a lot of money, man. To play soccer. You know, I don't know much about it, man, but shout out to him. He must be fucking dope, though. He must be like a really good soccer player. Okay, here's the thing, guys. And correct me if I'm wrong. Again, I've never seen a soccer ball in person. So what I'm about to say I may be speaking from ignorance. But I believe with my whole heart that I could be a professional soccer goalie today. Yeah, I know. Again, I've never seen a soccer ball, never played it. I don't really know the rules, but it looks like I feel like I can do that. Maybe it's just confidence. I could be wrong, guys. I could be wrong. Type in the comments. Let me know if you think I could. Is that what he does? Is Mbappe? Is he a goalie?
No, I don't think he's not
a goalie.
Sure. No.
I think I could be a goalie, man. Listen, Saudi Arabian kings and princes. I know you're watching. I know some of you are watching now. Yo, man, you ain't even got to pay me that much, man. Just give me. I do right now. I do it for 20 M's. I go to Saudi Arabia. I'll shut down Victory Talk. 20 M's. You know what I'm saying? For 1 year contract, man. I'll shut this shit down. You know what I'm saying? And come down to the desert. And I bet you I can block some of Mbappe's hits. Now, again, I could be wrong. I have never seen a soccer ball in my life. Like, even when I'm in models and shit, like, they don't have soccer balls in the hood, not the black hood. Like in New York, you got to think New York, the fucking Latinos don't even play soccer. They play baseball. So like soccer ain't a thing, man. It's one of the hardest positions in all the sports. God damn. All right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Or I just believe in myself. I don't even know what the ball feels like. Pause. Like I have no idea what I'm talking about, but it looks like it's something I can do, you know? But you know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Hey, do we got a super chat? Why, babe? Read the super. Not you, Nima. I wasn't talking to you. I was talking to Minovia. Read the super chat. I gotta run to the other room and get the pen for the iPad because I gotta draw on something for the next segment. All right, but while I'm doing that, you read the super chat.
I like how the screen is still going and the chair is spinning. All right. Let's read the longest super chat we have. Brandon, I sign up Thursday for your trading course. A lot of information to learn. I'm still.
All right, maybe I can't be a goalie. I might need to train. I might need to train for. I'm sorry. What was you saying?
Brandon, I signed up Thursday for your trading course. This is Big Player JD. A lot of information to learn. I'm still working 17 hours a day and got my expenses under 4K. Making 100K, living in Suffolk County, New York. What should be the next step?
All right. Listen, it may sound like I sprinted and it was like this is a big apartment. And the podcast studio is on the other side from my office. Maybe I can't be. I don't think I can be a goalie. But the goalies be in the same spot. They don't even run that like that, right?
No, they typically don't run that much.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even have to run as much. That's probably more running than a goalie does the whole game. I probably covered more ground. Again, I've never fucking seen the sport before in my life. I never watched the game. I ain't play. But I see like the highlights. once every 4 years on Sports Center. Okay.
I mean, the closest interaction recently has been in the Baller of the Week segment.
Yeah. That's how I find out, man. That's one of these motherfuckers got to make goddamn $500 million for me to even remember that soccer's a thing. But that's my ignorance. I know the rest of the world loves this shit, you know, and I respect y'all beliefs. What the fuck was this question? Okay, no, I remember. He just signed up. What's the next step? Yo, you got to finish learning. Just go through the information. Yo, shout out to this brother working 17 hours a day, though. Shout out to him. Like people. I'm just thinking about it. I was like, hold up. All right, you might be going a little too hard. Yo, you might be going a little too hard, fam. Like, shit. What you getting, like 4 hours of sleep? You don't want to sacrifice your health, man. But you know what, man? I appreciate your enthusiasm. If you really going that hard, and shout out to you. If I was you, I think 14 hours is like the fucking max you should be putting in on a day. Like that's the max, you know, because you need to make sure you get enough sleep. Like if you're just working and sleeping and eating and shitting and showering, like 14 hours is like kind of like the max amount of work you should be putting in. I still ain't got my okay. I don't know if I can get okay. Saudi Arabian princes. I'll be a goalie for 10 million, right? Because I need to train. You know, I got to do 20. I just cut my rate in half. I'll do that shit today, though. Unless, of course, y'all do drug tests because I'm on testosterone. Okay, I can't do it. There's probably not a whole lot of 40-year-old fucking professional goalies right now. Okay, if they make a 40 and up league and they don't drug test, I'll do that shit today. Anyway, yeah, man, I think you need to, if you're working 17 hours, that's a little bit too much, bro. You're going too hard because you can't be getting enough sleep, you know, but maybe you got to do that right now. Maybe like that's the season you're in where like you just like I would do that shit if I was like broke. I would do that shit. So I get it. So try to cut your hours down, get to a point where you can cut your hours down 14, somewhere between 12 and 14, right? And then finish going through that material. And you want to make sure you're getting sleep, man, because lack sleep will fuck you up. That was the first super chat of the day. Did I answer the question? I think Minovia, did I answer the question?
You did, because he asked what's the next step. Yeah.
Yo, you got to get to a point where you can cut your workouts down. That's too much. Hey, but there's but sometimes you have to do that when you're in your 20s, right? Sometimes you got to, you know, you be broken. You got to put in that work. And I appreciate you that, man. That's one of the habits, being a hard worker. That's one of the habits you should cultivate in your 20s. Matter of fact, there's more habits. We have a whole segment on it called Habits of a Winner. I still don't have my breath back. Yo, listen, look here. There's a reason that pro athletes are retired by the time they're my age. And I just found out the hard way. It's the last time I run anywhere. All right. All right, so listen. A lot of guys waste their 20s. Okay, no. I don't want to start this. I want to give you guys the top 5 lessons I wish I knew when I was in my 20s. You know, I'm 40 years old now. I'll be 41 in a few months. And I've accomplished a lot, but I'd be a lot further if I knew the things that I'm going to tell you now. You know, I see a lot of guys who waste their 20s, you know, on vices, hedonism, and they have nothing to show for it. They end up being my age with nothing to show for it but a bunch of funny stories, baby mamas, and or STDs. And I don't want that to happen to you, right? I want you maximize your 20s, because if you maximize this time period, you can really set yourself up to really thrive in the next stages of your life and set things up for your future. You can really set things up for your future, for your children who come after you, if you follow these tips. All right. So number one is chase victory, not dopamine. What I mean by that is a lot of times guys in their 20s, they'll really be, chasing women, going out, partying, getting drunk, getting high, and they place like a strong emphasis on that, right? But those are kind of empty victories because they don't set you up for greater success in the future. For example, I was not one of these like unfocused party animal motherfuckers in my 20s. However, I did indulge in hedonism more than I wish I did. And, a few years ago, I met a guy who was almost 10 years younger than me. But he's about 5 years younger than me. But he's about 10 times as wealthy as me. And I'm doing really well for myself, man. I got a lot of money. Y'all see, man, I got the fucking Richard Mille, Cartier bracelets, diamonds, penthouse apartment, all that shit. And this guy's 10 times more wealthy than me and 5 years younger than me. And the reason he was able to accomplish so much more than me in less time is because he was super focused in his 20s. Right. He didn't party as much as me. He didn't chase women as much as me. He didn't. Now, he might not have had as much fun as me either. Right. But I would have traded a lot of that for 10 times as much money as I have now. I'm going to be honest with you. 10 times the success, because to be super successful, you're going to have to sacrifice things. You're going to have to make sacrifices. However, if you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then the goals become the sacrifice. If you're not willing to sacrifice for your goals, then the goals become the sacrifice. So you think that you're giving up momentary pleasures. You think that you're giving up fun, or you're sacrificing fun. And you think it's like a big sacrifice, but you got to understand it's a sacrifice either way. You're either sacrificing fun now or fun in the future, right? You're sacrificing the man you could become, the things you could accomplish, the things you could do for your family, for really what I would call empty victories, And I think in the 20s, I think men in their 20s can really fall victim to this, especially as it pertains to like chasing girls, partying, going to clubs. You just want to have so much fun. Just want to party and shit. But man, if you were to really set yourself up and maximize this period, if you would really maximize this period, you can really set things up for the future where by the time you're 30, you can be like really living your dreams early. I didn't really start balling to my mid to late 30s as a result, where this guy was balling like way before me, the guy I was talking to you about before. And success is really about delaying gratification, learning to delay gratification. Because when I finally did get my shit together and started focusing more, it wasn't until my father killed himself. Like my father shot himself in the head when I was 24. But up until that point, I was partying, having fun and all this shit. And I was really focused on that. And then things got serious when my father committed suicide. Then I had to really take care of my family, take care of my mom. I was a man of the family. And I had to dig my family out of the hole that we were in at that point, both mentally and financially. And that's when I got super serious. And what I did was I started working like 12 to 14 hours a day. I had 4 jobs. I woke up. I've told the story before, but it bears repeating because I started doing this when I was 24, and now I am where I am. I started working up at 4 a.m., taking the subway from Queens to Harlem, 125th Street, training people in the gym there, then showering there, and then taking the train down to Soho and working security for 8 hours. Then after that, I worked for my boy's moving company. And on the weekends, I still woke up early, trained people in the morning, then came back to Queens and managed a restaurant on Steinway Boulevard. I'm sorry, on Steinway Street for the rest of the day. These was 12, 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I did that for 2 years. It only took 2 years. But because I did that during that time, I was able to make $100,000 both years with those blue collar jobs. The reason I had to do those blue collar jobs because this was in 2008, 2007, 2008, when the economy collapsed. Right. So we had record unemployment. There was people with master's degrees working at Starbucks. Like, it was a true story. But I didn't let that stop me from succeeding. And I lived off half my income, less than half my income. And I had a real war chest of capital to deploy against my goals after those 2 years. And that's when I started my first business that really took off, you know. And if you can put in that kind of work in your 20s, you can really succeed. You know, that's kind of what it takes, but you're gonna have to delay gratification. So during that time period, I didn't go to any barbecues, right? No parties, right? The whole summer, I didn't do any of that stuff. I didn't see any movies. I didn't really watch TV. I didn't watch basketball. I didn't go to any basketball games. And these are things I love, right? And you knew that because I was Black. Of course, I want to be at the barbecue and at the basketball games. But I had my head down. I was focused, you know, because I had to dig my family out of the situation we were in. But now, when I go to basketball games, I sit floor seats at the Heat game, right? Which is like walking distance from my crib, you know, in Miami. So it's greater later. Like when you delay gratification and work, when you actually do get to indulge in these things that you were sacrificing, you can get a better version of it, if that makes sense, because you put in the work up front. You know, I hope you guys really understand that, you know, because but in order to do that, you're going to have to change your associations with pain and pleasure. Right? You're going to have to change the way you think about happiness and success. And that leads me to number 2, right? The second thing you need to do in your 20s is you need to worry about building your character and not so much about building your status in your 20s. Right? So I see a lot of guys in their 20s and they want the car now. They want the girl now. They want the money now. They want the crib now. They want all the stuff now, today. They want the Richard Mille today. They want the APs today, the Rolex today. But it's too early for you. It's too early for that. You want to worry about building the character and becoming the man who is worthy of having those things. That has to come first, right? A lot of times people, especially young guys, they have something to prove, but they want to prove it to other people with their outer possessions, with the way with the car they drive, with the clothes they have, with the women they're with, you know. But if you do things because you want to accomplish the goal, right? Once you accomplish the goal, you'll stop doing the things. And this is how a lot of people fall off. For example, my father struggled all his life. He was an orphan. He didn't know his parents. His mom died when he was like a baby. He never met his dad. He grew up in orphanages and foster homes. Didn't go to college, didn't finish high school, you know, no education. He grew up in the streets, goddamn thug gang leader, right? Then he meets my mom. He's still struggling. They get married. They have me, but we grew up poor on the south side of Chicago, right? I didn't see him a lot, even though he lived with us and they were still together. because he was working so hard on his business. You know, he's really trying to come up. And I got sent away to military high school when I was around 14, 15, because I got in some trouble, you know, Southside Chicago shit, you know, and I got sent away to military school. And then his business started to take off. It actually started to work. After 15 years of struggling, it started to work. He started to make money. By the time I was out of high school, he was making $3 million a year. Adjusted for inflation, that's $8 million, right? That would be $8 million in today's currency, right? Which is pretty good for anyone, especially a goddamn orphan from Southside Chicago who never met his parents, you know? I didn't experience any of the wealth, but I knew it was happening in the background while I was in military school. Then I go to college. By the time I'm done with college, I was gone. I went to school in DC. By the time I graduated from college, he had lost all the money. It's like I didn't experience any of the wealth. He had lost it all and then committed suicide a few years later. So the reason that happened, because once he started making the money, he stopped doing the things that caused him to be successful, right? He started indulging in the fruits of his labor. You get what I'm saying? He didn't really build the character. Then he wasn't doing it because he was trying to build the character, because he was trying to become the kind of man who did the things. It seemed like he wanted the wealth and the things that came with it. And that makes a lot of sense. He came from nothing, right? But I saw that and I thought, okay, when I come up, I can't take my foot off the gas. So now I think about, right now, I work harder than most of y'all and I'm rich already, right? If you woke up with, you know, with millions of dollars, if you had millions of dollars right now, would you still wake up at 4:30 and you didn't have to? But that's what I do. You get what I'm saying? Because I'm not doing it for the money. I'm not doing it for the status. I'm not doing it for the external reward. My goal every day is to be the kind of person who's worthy of having the things. I want to be the type of person, be the type of man who can accomplish these things. You get what I'm saying? Because lack of character, I'm working on building my character, because lack of character is why you see people fall off. They get comfortable, they get soft. You know, success can make you real soft. People start indulging in the lifestyle. They start indulging in the fruits of their labor because they were doing it for the reward instead of doing it to become the kind of man who was worthy of the reward. Marcus Aurelius once said, "It only ruins your life if it ruins your character." And what he meant by that was, if you are the type of person, the type of man who's worthy of accomplishing these things, who does the things he's supposed to do, you can lose everything and you'll build it right back. But it's also less likely that you'll lose everything. You know what I'm saying? Because I keep doing the stuff. I don't think, oh man, I got a few million now. I can slack off. No, because I wasn't working for the millions. I was working to become the man who was worthy of making the millions, right? I was working to build my character. I wanted to be the baddest motherfucker. Like sometimes when people say, man, you inspire me, I want to be like you. And I look at them and I'm like, yo, man, I can tell you soft. I can tell you soft. Or I look at their habits and I'm like, you can never be like me with those habits, because with that character, you need to build the character. Then all the other shit takes care of itself. Like if you are a hard worker and if you take pride in that, if you take pride in doing the things that other people think is difficult, if you take pride in delaying gratification, if you start to take pride in sacrificing for your goals, then the goals will take care of themselves. You don't even have to look at it. You know what I'm saying? For example, over the last 10 years, I've been keeping a food scale with me everywhere I go. Like I weigh my food when I'm at restaurants, when I'm out eating. And then every once in a while, somebody will say, man, that takes a lot of discipline, man. I couldn't do that. And I'm thinking, fucking right, you can never do it. I do all types of shit you can never do. Because I'm a crazy person, but I don't say that. I say to them, oh yeah, it's cool, man. It's not for everybody. You just got to be happy. Or so I say some shit to make them feel better about their inferiority. But the truth is, I take pride in the fact that I do shit that they think is too difficult to do. When people tell me, oh man, you don't never eat carbs, man, I couldn't do that. I'm like, no shit, asshole. I do all types of shit you couldn't do. And not eating carbs is the least impressive thing on that fucking list. Because I'm a fucking maniac. Right? But it's like you want to start taking pride in putting in work and take pride in your work ethic. You would take pride in going super hard. Take pride in being a G, not in having the things. Because if you do it for the things, you'll stop when you get the things. But if you do it because you're building your character, you're becoming more resilient, you're becoming stronger as a person. If you're doing it for that reason, then you'll have all the things you want. You'll have surplus, abundance. You won't even have to worry about it. A way you can cultivate this, right? A way you can cultivate this attitude is something I call a list of great. So I want you to think about all the goals that you want to accomplish in life, the big goals that you're serious about wanting to accomplish, right? Think about those goals and then write a list of all. Then imagine a version of yourself who's already accomplished those goals. And write a list of all the attributes that person would have had to have to accomplish those goals. And look at it every day. I call this the list of great. Look at that list every day. And what's going to happen is every time you act in congruence with the attributes on that list, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel good about yourself. And what's going to happen is you're going to train your nervous system to enjoy hard work, to enjoy doing the things that are on that list. And with repetition, with time, it won't take discipline to do the things that you need to do to accomplish your goal. It's going to take discipline not to do them. Right? A lot of times when I take my foot off the gas or I'm not working or I do something recreational, a lot of times it's not like, oh man, I can't wait to go on this vacation or I can't wait to do this thing or go to this. A lot of times it's more obligatory, right? It's something that I'm doing, to make my family happy, right? Like I made, it's my son's birthday. So like I stopped working because I want to be with my son on his birthday, but that's for him. I love him too and I want to celebrate, but it's not a thing like, oh man, I can't wait for this celebration, or somebody in my family's birthday or my girl's birthday or something like that. And that's cool. You do things for your family, but like those things are the sacrifice for me. Not working. You know what I'm saying? And what's going to happen after you start reviewing your list of great and acting in congruence with it, when you start acting in congruence with what's on your list of great, you'll change your nervous system and you'll change your associations with things that make you feel good. And then it's going to be difficult to stop you from doing the things that you want to do. Because right now it's probably difficult for you to wake up early, work hard. It'll be difficult to stop that once you change your associations, right? And one of the main things you need to do is build the character of the type of person who keeps improving. And that goes into step number 3. Become so good that they can't ignore you. Become so good that they can't ignore you. And that's going to be your skill acquisition. Now, I'm going to tell you a story to emphasize this. The guy who edits my shorts on YouTube and my TikTok videos and my Instagram reels is a guy named Ryan McGinn. And he started this business where he would make edits for people's shorts and people's short form video when he saw TikTok blowing up. And I've known Ryan for over 10 years. right? He used to work with Elliot Holst, and we were boys, but he was starting his business, and I was one of the first people he asked to hire him, right? And he had never did this shit before, and I was thinking, nah, motherfucker, you're not about to beta test this shit on me, right? You're not going to see if this shit works on me. And I was like, nah, I'm not really ready for that. And plus, I wasn't ready to do that at that time, right? For some other reasons. It was fucking COVID and shit. Like, it was a bunch of other reasons, right? We got to edit that out. It was during the C9 pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And so he went and found some other clients, but then he got some big name clients. And I can't really say their names because he signed NDAs and I don't want to get him in trouble. But he signed some big name clients and he started making them go viral. He was blowing up their social medias and he really proved himself to be really, really good at what he does. And then I eventually hit him up and said, hey, man, you still doing that shit? And guess what? The price had went up and I paid it because he was so good, right? He didn't have to sell me at that point. I had to convince him to let me pay him because he had got so good. I hope you guys are understanding that, right? So if you're really good at what you do, if you're really talented, if you really have skills, then people will pay you. Like the best, if you're one of the best at what you do, is super good at it, then you won't never have to worry about work. You won't never have to worry about money, right? Because you'll be able to, there's always somebody who's be willing to pay for the best, right? So in your 20s, you should really be focused on skill acquisition. Because if you can master something or master a particular skill set in your 20s, then you can really, if you can spend your 20s mastering your skill sets, then you can really capitalize on that when you are in your 30s and 40s, and make make a lot of money based off those skill sets. For me, what that looked like was, luckily, I started working out and training people when I was 16. First of all, I was working out when I was 15. Then after the first year, I started like training some other people that I knew, like friends and family, and in military school and shit. And when I was in college, I got a job as a trainer because I went to college when I was 17. So I didn't even start YouTube until I was 25 as a fitness influencer. But I had a decade of experience before I started YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I built the skills. So I wasn't coming in here as like some guy who read a book or read some fucking articles about fitness. I'm not like you motherfuckers who like watch some assholes videos on YouTube and now you think you're fitness experts. No. I was training 10 people a day when you were shitting in your diapers, watching Teletubby and shit. You know what I'm saying? I was actually in the trenches training people, getting results for people. So I had developed a certain level of expertise. And not only did that skill come across in the results I was able to get from my clients who I started training online and in the YouTube videos I was making at the time, but also in my confidence, right? I wasn't worried about, I was a lot more confident than a lot of people who try to start going online. But I spent time building my skill set before I started actually trying to monetize it. So for you, one thing you can do is really start focusing on building your skill set, even if that means working for somebody for free, right? Even if it means internships, even if it means maybe paying less so you can learn more. You get what I'm saying? It's, for example, the guy I was telling you about in the beginning of the story, the guy Ryan, who does my YouTube shorts, he was working for Elliot Holst. And Elliot wasn't paying him a lot at that time, right? But Ryan wasn't worth a lot at that time, right? He probably got more from Elliot than he did. He probably learned more from Elliot as far as how to work with influencers and how to make YouTube videos. When Elliot built his, subscriber list over 100, Ryan was there. I mean, when he built his subscriber list over 1 million, Ryan was there. And he was helping Elliot film and stuff. And that experience allowed him to go start his own business. And now he gets he has $1 million business doing editing shorts and TikToks for people. No bullshit. Like he's got a 7-figure business doing that shit. But you got to remember, he spent like almost a decade under Elliot's tutelage. You know, it's super important. Now, if you can't find someone to work for or some sort of mentor, you can still work on your skill sets your way. And let me show you what that looks like. Hold on. Let me bring this up. This is good. Bear with me. So you can show this. There's a book called Outliers. It's a famous book by Malcolm Gladwell. And you don't have to read the book because Malcolm fucking he's long-winded. His books are fucking way longer than they need to be. But you know, people seem to like it. It's 30,000 fucking reviews with a 4.5 star rating. Maybe read the book. I don't know. But the main takeaway of the book is that it takes 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert. 10,000 hours of practice to become an expert in your field. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if you need 10,000 hours or you need to be I don't know if you need to be an expert to make money. You want to be as good as you can, but I have my own kind of theory on skill acquisition, and it looks like this, right? So this is performance and this is results, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me skip past this. It's not what I want. Okay, so I think we good now. I had the wrong graph up. So I think at 100 hours, if you work on something, you know, for 100 hours, I think you're like not bad. The reason I know that is because I play keyboard, drums, and guitar, and every time I picked up a new instrument, it would take me about 3 months for me to be okay. He's not bad, but that's 3 months with like an hour practice every day. 3 months, about 90 days, give or take maybe 10 days, right? And you're just not bad. You're not fucking good, but you're not bad. Like, oh, that guy is not trash, but you're not good yet, right? I think 1,000 hours of practice makes you good. 1,000 hours of practice, oh, that guy's good. I mean, you know, if you with the guitar example, you're not gonna guitar battle Van Halen or some shit, or bitches ain't gonna be throwing panties on the stage at you after 1,000 hours. But he's like, oh man, he's good. You know, it's respectable. You know, respectable. Now 2,000 hours, that's when you're really good. And you're like, oh, okay, this motherfucker's really good. All right. And then 5,000 hours, this is amazing. Like motherfuckers' jaws drop. You know. Now 10,000 hours, Adam Gladwell says that you're an expert, like one of the best in the world class. Now check this out. 20,000 hours. This is from research I've done. I think you'll be one of the best ever. But think about this, right? How long will it take you to get these hours? Right? Let's look at this, right? So if you practice 1 hour a day at a skill, right? 100 hours, it's going to take you 3 months or around 3 months. These are, I'm in these examples, I'm rounding up, right? Rounding up or rounding down. These about, right? 2 hours a day is going to take you 2.5 months. 3 hours is going to take you a month. If you do 4 hours a day, 4 hours a day, 25 days, right? So if you really wanted to, you can get good. You can get not bad at anything in a month, right? Now, 1 hour a day, it starts to look like this. To get 1,000 hours, it's going to take you 2 years just to be good. Over 2.5 years, right? If you practice 2 hours a day, it's going to take you 1.3 years, right? If you practice 1 hour, 3 hours a day, it's going to take you 1 year. Practice 4 hours a day, excuse me, you can do it in 8 months, right? Now, if you want to be really good, 1 hour a day is going to take you 5 years at 1 hour a day, like over 5 years. It'll take you over 2 years at 2 hours a day. It's going to take you 2 years at 3 hours a day. Okay, 4 hours a day, 18 months, you'll be like really good, right? If you want to be amazing, it's going to take you 13 years at 1 hour a day. You can do it in just under 7 years at 2 hours a day. You can do it over, if you want to, 3 hours a day, you could do it in, 4.5 years. 4 hours a day, you get 4 years. And you can't we can do this all fucking day. But you kind of get the message, take a screenshot of this shit if you want to do it, Here's the thing. If this is one of the reasons why I recommend you work for someone to get skills. If you can get paid the way my boy Ryan did, while you're building the skill set, right? He worked for Elliot, probably more than 4 hours a day, and he did it for years. Now he has $1 million video company. And it's not even just editing the videos, right? Because it's nuances. I've worked with a lot of different editors and a lot of people. It's like he knows what will go viral. He knows what will work. He knows he created an editing style that everybody's copying for shorts. You just see the shit with the text that comes up on shorts and reels and TikToks when people just start talking. Yeah, before him, everyone was dancing and pointing that shit in their TikToks. You know what I'm saying? Pointing that shit. Nope. They had the shit going, yep. Nope. That's all people were doing on TikTok. You know what I'm talking about? They either, yep. Nope. Yep. Before Ryan changed that shit. He made that shit. He made TikTok not some loser shit by people giving advice and they putting the captions all over it. Like Ryan invented that style. But the reason he was able to do that is because he had like a decade of experience working for Elliot. Like he worked for Elliot for about, 8 to 10 years. So he got his 10,000 hours and got paid to do it. Does that make sense? Right? I was training like 10 people a day when I was 17 over the summers. And then even when I was in college, and then even when I couldn't do it 10 hours a day, I still had clients while I was, I still had clients during the school year too. So I was still getting at least 4 hours a day all through college. And then after, so I had well over 10,000 hours as a personal trainer before I started my fitness YouTube channel. Does that make sense? Right? It's like Nima's been working for me for man long. He came and he was already good, but I know he's improved because I've seen it over the last year, but he puts in a lot of hours. That's why I really think if you're serious about skill acquisition, how else are you going to get good if you can't do it all day? Right? You got to get paid to do it all day. So like take a job where you can learn in your 20s. You get what I'm saying? Take a job where you can learn. Like work for the skills, not the money, until you get a sufficient amount of hours where you can really monetize it. I spent longer on that than I wanted to. Right? And then another way to speed up another way to speed up your skill acquisition is number 4, is to always be learning. Right? So I read a lot. Like I read these books. It's not just decoration. I read about 2 books a week, every week for like the last 10 years, and sometimes people ask me why do I read so much? And I don't understand why y'all don't understand it. But you got to remember, back during the times of slavery, it was illegal for slaves to read. It was illegal for slaves to read. And if someone got caught teaching a slave to read, they'd be fined or put in jail or even whipped. They would whip white people for teaching a slave to read. And if a slave got caught reading, then they could be put in jail, beaten, or sometimes they would amputate like their fingers or toes, right? So to scare the other slaves into not reading. Why do you think that is? Why didn't they want the slaves to read? Because if they were able to read, they would be able to learn more and become more intelligent, right? Now, I'm not saying that reading is the only way to learn. It's my preferred method, right? You can courses, YouTube, podcasts, whatever you need to do, but you need to spend a certain amount of time every day learning, right? A certain amount of time every day learning. And reading audiobooks, it doesn't matter the method, as long as you're every day you're focused on learning more. You want to go to sleep smarter than you woke up, at least a little bit. And a way to make sure you accomplish that, like to make sure you accomplish this, one thing to just say, it's another thing to make sure it happens, is you can do something. Let me bring something up for you. I'm gonna show you how I track it. I actually track how much I study each day. So let me bring this shit up. Hold on. I'm gonna bring up I have a habit tracker. So I'm gonna bring up one from last year because some of the other stuff got some things on here I don't want you to see. Right. So I track my habits. I track the things that I do every day, things that are important, right? And one of them is to study. And I just track if I study every day. And for me, it's an hour to 90 minutes. And I did that shit in this particular month, I did that 98% of the time, right? And I just try to make sure I'm tracking it. But this is how, I track other things too, how much I sleep, if I track my macros, AM meditation, workout, just to make sure I'm on point to keep myself accountable, right? If you start tracking it, you'll start to keep yourself accountable, right? A lot of times people don't really know what they're doing until they see the data. I know that because I've trained so many people. Once they start tracking their macros, they're like, oh shit, I didn't realize I was eating this much, or I didn't realize I wasn't eating as much as I am, right? So it just keeps me cognizant of what I'm supposed to do, right? And the beauty of this is you start to you'll notice that you're going to be making more. You'll start to be able to make different connections, right? Because you'll have different data points to draw from, and you'll start to see things from a different perspective once you have more information. It's super important that you're always learning. The more you learn, the more you earn. All right, hold up. Let me bring this shit back. And if you do all those things, if you do all those things, success will start to come to you. Right. And that brings us to the fifth thing. The fifth thing I wish I knew in my 20s. It was, you want to be the buyer, not the seller. What do I mean by that? Well, when I was like 15 or 16, Jay-Z had a song with Twista, who's from Chicago. So I was real excited. I was like, oh shit, Twista on a song with Hove? That's amazing. I can't wait to hear it. And it starts off, Jay-Z says, don't get mad at me. I don't love him. I fuck him. I don't chase him. I duck him. I replace him with another one. And I was like, what? Like 16-year-old, 15, 16-year-old virgin Brandon couldn't wrap my mind around girls chasing you. Like I couldn't wrap my mind around it as a child. But then as I got older, I realized, oh yeah, Jay-Z is rich, famous. He's got a lot of things going for him. Right now he's a billionaire. Right. So what you need to understand is that the key to getting women, making money, customers, everything is improving yourself to the point where people start, where these things start coming to you, where it's an advantage for those things to be attached to you. Like my example with my boy Ryan, he was so good and he had so much expertise that I came to him like, yo, man, how can I work with you? I just hired another guy in his company to help us take this podcast to the next level. But he had showed me how he didn't even have to sell me. He showed me how he took a few other podcasts, the audio versions of the podcast, and got them to rank in the top 10 of Apple Podcasts, right? And I was like, oh shit, how do you? He was kind of explaining the not so much hacks, but like the actual things he did to improve those podcasts. And I came to him. I was like, yo, man, how can I work with you? And then even when we got on the call, it was a sales call. But what he said was, he said, all right, man, so what is it about what we do that makes you excited to work with us? And I'm over here selling myself to him so I can pay him. You know what I'm saying? It's super important. And the way it works is and it worked. I mean, it works like that with women too, right? Like I think a lot of the pickup guys, especially back in the day, they would teach that you want to show that you're alpha and you do all these things to show that you're alpha, or you can just be that guy, right? Because all the things they teach is getting you to trick a chick into thinking that and the thinking that you me, right? But but what if it like being with you would raise her status? What if it was a win for her to be with you, right? Would you have to convince her, right? If you was really the man, you wouldn't have to convince anyone. And it kind of looks like this, right? Again, if you do all the things in this step, so like you focus on, hold on. Sorry. Oh yeah. You focus on building your character, becoming the type of person who deserves these things, right? Deserves to have the things you want. Okay. And then that character will allow you to build the skills that are needed to accomplish these goals, right? Because you're gonna have to work hard. It's gonna take you can see it take a lot of hours, it's gonna take a lot of work, right? And then those skills will give you the status, right? You'll be known as someone who's really good at what they do, and you'll make more money off of it. You'll make money for the skill set, right? And then that skill set, once you have all these things, then what happens is girls, more money will come to you, right? Friends, everything comes to you at that point. Once you become that guy, you become magnetic. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a big mistake in your 20s to actually chase women. You need to chase becoming the kind of person who women come to. You don't want to have to chase money, being the type of person, becoming the type of person who builds the type of skill set that people will pay to have work on their businesses or pay to have improve their lives, right? Building these skill sets. And if you can accomplish these things, then if you go about it like that, it becomes easy. And that's how I think you should spend your 20s. If you do those things, I promise you, by the time you're my age, you'll be balling, shot calling, flexing on the haters, stunning on the hoes. Can't wait to see you accomplish that. Hey, oh shit, it's 8 o'clock. You know what that means. It's time for Market Update.
Yeah, Mr. Brandon, good evening. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Yo, we got a lot of new viewers here, man. Those of y'all who don't know, you know what I'm saying? The best trader I know is my man Romulus. He's got the skills. He used to be a trader on hedge funds, and he's helped me make a lot of money with trades. And we bring him on every week.
Every week. Fantastic.
To break down the market, open up the charts. And I'm excited to see these charts, Romulus, this week.
Yeah, I'm excited to bring him to this. You said a new crowd, the older crowd, the people who've been with us. Let's give a big grateful shout out to all of them for being so supportive to us for all this time. Wow. It's a phenomenal run that we've been on, Brandon. Real quick, before we get into the charts, before we talk about stocks, before we talk about the markets and how we're going to help everybody make some money, I want to tell you, because I know you keep yourself busy with a lot of great important things, but the Legion itself, which is where we work directly with awesome people trying to grow their financial abilities, is now the biggest that it has ever been.
Come on, man.
Biggest it's ever been. Yep. Now all over the place. And, a minute ago, you were talking about the law of attraction. That's really what you were getting into.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah, for sure. Maybe not the way they talk about it in like, but yeah, for sure. I get what you're saying.
It is a law of attraction because look, and the reason I bring that up directly, not just because you're smart by talking about that, but because money it works in a similar fashion. It is attracted to quality, Brandon. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that, man.
I mean, look, you're not going to willingly go ahead and throw your money down a drain, piss it away on something idiotic. Make some investment like buying Dogecoin a couple of years ago at 80 cents when you really know it was going back to 8 cents.
For sure.
Okay. That's idiotic. That's not what money really does in the big picture. It's attracted to success. It's attracted to returns. Money flows to the highest returns.
That's right.
Okay? Write that down, everybody. That's something I learned over 25 years ago from one of my original mentors. And I know I took a roundabout way. Money is attracted to the highest return. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So let's get into it here a little bit. And before I go any further here, I want to remind everybody that for those who are not with us, we have an awesome Discord place. It's the
Got to join the Discord.
You got to jump in there. We're talking stocks and markets and helping everybody make money every single day. Join there. And if you're not in the Legion, you want to get in there pronto, because tomorrow, right around Fed time, 2 p.m. Eastern, my guy Greg and I, we're going to be trading live. We're going to be showing everybody real live trading with our own accounts. Boom, right there. So
at 2 p.m. tomorrow, you're going to be live in there?
What's that?
You 2 p.m. you're going to be live in there.
Live.
Trading. Let's go, man. Where else you going to see that? Come on, man.
You know, it's always funny, Brandon, when we do these live events, it blows me away how people never believe us.
Yo, yeah.
Why is that? Like, you always have to show, you have to type in, no, look, this is live. This is my phone right now. You see the time and date. Yeah. Why don't they believe us when we tell them this?
No, that's cool, man. It's cool. You know what? I think man,
I don't get it.
It's cool, man. Yo, I see you got the charts up.
Yep. So, hey, real quick, everybody. We all know a couple of companies that I'm going to be talking about here. I'm not going to be going into a little Bob's Pizzeria, nothing like that tonight. You know, Joe's Car Wash, that's not on the scene. In the last couple of weeks, we've had a lot of big names stepping up, throwing their earnings around for the quarter that closed at the end of June, and a couple of big ones today. So the markets are up this year, 2023. A lot of that is on the back of just a handful of very large technology stocks.
Yeah.
Tesla, wait, let me type that in correctly. Tesla being one of them, Netflix being another one. Meta, Facebook, whatever you want to call that, and Microsoft, Apple, and a few others. And we're going to tear into these one at a time. So Tesla is always the first of these big tech companies to put out their earnings. Don't know why. That's just how it is. And you see the stock going all the way up in here, and then another little step up over here. This is after the earnings came out. That big 10% drop, another drop the next day, followed by another couple of points over there. This is after the earnings came out. Let me show you Netflix.
It dropped 10% in one day.
One day, yep. Here's Netflix. I don't know if it was a 10% down day on Netflix. It was 8.5%, so pretty close. They had a similar type of a down move. Again, this happened after, not before, after the earnings came out. So those were the first two companies to report, Tesla and Netflix. Both of them had pretty good down days, pretty big down day. I mean, 8, 9, 10%. No matter how big or small you are, it's a pretty big rip for one day. Microsoft came out a couple of hours ago. Microsoft is already getting ripped. It doesn't show it on the screen over here because it's, I guess, after 8 o'clock and it's shut down.
It was after hours. Yeah, you'd probably have to put it on like the 4-hour chart or something.
Right. It's trading at about $338 right now. Okay. So it's down about $13 a share so far. So that's 3 companies of the big ones that did the heavy lifting so far in 2023. All 3 of the ones that I named and show you on the chart are down a decent to a large amount after their earnings. Now we're going to continue over here. We've got Google. Of the big ones, Google is trading at about 129, so it is up. It's the only one. It's funny because out of all the charts that we've looked at, the 4 big companies that we just analyzed, the Google chart was looking the weakest out of those 4 until the earnings came out. And it's the only one that is up. I find that kind of interesting. So 1 out of the 4. But here's the thing. Look at Netflix again. I'm going to pull up Tesla one more time. We'll show you Microsoft again. Look at these companies before their earnings came out. They're right at these highs. All-time high for Microsoft at that big wick peak right there. Huge high level. Not all-time high for Netflix, but the highest it had been for quite some time. Same thing with Tesla. Highest the stock had been for quite some time. And then, bam, 3 out of the 4 companies, bam, right after their earnings come out. What do we learn from this? Well, first of all, don't be a top-tick Harry. That's number 1. Retail folks, they're buying the stocks right up in here. Right before the earnings, they think they're in Vegas or something. There's no rhyme or reason to what they do. There's no explanation. There's no plan to how they're executing. They just see the stocks up a whole bunch, earnings coming out tomorrow. Well, I guess I'll buy the stock and I'll lose 10% just like that. I mean, again, a little bit of sense out there. Even if you bought all 4 and with the gain, the small gain that's coming in Google, you're down on your money.
Yeah.
Okay? So get a little bit of a plan, have a little bit of sense. Another thing that I'll tell you about these earnings is, at least from my perspective, I don't see any major red flags. I mean, the trading is down on most of them. There are big red days, but the earnings themselves, they were decent. I mean, they weren't spectacular. They were decent earnings. The trading, that stocks did fall. But if you guys recall, in 2022, Meta, after their earnings came out, the stock would drop like 25, 30% in one day. Instead of 5 or 10% like we saw in these handful of others. So no major red flags in the earnings, nothing great either, but no major red flags, and no massive gut-wrenching rips to the downside in the stocks. But the fact that their earnings were not incredibly great, that tells you something, because after the run-up in a lot of these stocks, again, going back to Microsoft, hitting a new all-time high back here Tuesday, July 18th, so a week ago, people expected a lot. They expected incredible. They were looking for holy shit. And that didn't happen. And that's what I'm trying to say for a while, is things got a little ahead of themselves. And the trading that we're seeing post earnings in 3 out of these 4 companies is telling you that profit taking, time for a rest, time for a break, maybe a little bit of a reset. That's what's happening right now. So don't get overly excited. Meta still has to report. I think they're tomorrow. Again, I would, even if the stock does go up tomorrow after the earnings or whenever it happens, don't be in a hurry to buy these things. Just make a fool of yourself because, hey, everybody else is buying them. Have a little bit of a plan out there is what we're suggesting. Okay? A little bit of a plan.
Well, what's that doing to the overall, to the market, like the Qs and SPY?
Here's the S&P's down a little bit so far overnight. You can see that it's just kind of sitting up at the same levels that it had been at about a week or so. Okay? Yeah. About a week or so. Everybody should be mindful of what's coming up starting in a few weeks. August and September are the 2 weakest of the calendar months in terms of stock market behavior. There are other commodities and other things, other securities out there that have good times in August and September, but not the stocks typically. And of those 2, September is typically worse. A lot of people think it's October because those 2 big crashes, 29 and 87. But the 2 worst months, August and September being the worst of those 2. So it's not just a great time to be out there buying these things because they're up, because everybody's talking about them. And what, you got FOMO? What, you can't help yourself? What are you, a child? You can't control yourself? This is your money. How hard did you work for this money? Stop and think about this for a second. I mean, Brandon and I worked our asses off for the money we have.
Come on, man.
So we don't foolishly throw it around in the markets like just some dumbass or another. And we don't want you to do that either.
And speaking of that, I know you talk about this in the Discord, so anybody wants like more analysis to join the Discord. But where are you seeing the overall market going? Let's say SPY specifically.
Well, again,
the S&P 500.
Yeah. So we have SPY up right now. Again, it's not a time to be just dumping a bunch of money into it right now, because you got the 2 week months coming up. No, there's no earnings. There's nothing going on for a while. No news related stuff. It's typically a weaker time. So I just let it play out for a bit. Yeah.
It's pretty far away from the moving averages right now.
They're really stretched. That's called overbought for those. And by the way, some of the terms that Brandon and I are using right now, I'm a professional. I've been in this market, started on Wall Street in 1994, over 28 years ago. Brandon's been having great success trading in the markets for a number of years now. He was good before we met. He got better after we met.
For sure.
Terms that we're using, like he just said, moving averages, which are these lines, these red, gold, and blue lines. These are certain areas that we can use to help us figure out generally where the markets are going. And we're saying, yes, things are really overdone to the upside. So look, I ran a marathon. I'm a distance athlete. That's the thing I've been involved in. Started competitively swimming when I was 6. Did that all the way through high school. Was on a bicycle racing team in college. And even today, I'm racing both bikes and in the pool pretty often, especially during the summer. And when I ran that marathon, I just couldn't run the whole thing at a sprint. I mean, it was 26 miles. And by the way, that was New York City. I finished up at Central Park. No, I needed a break. I need to slow it down sometimes and grab some food, grab some water, and then I can go faster. Then I need to slow it down a little bit, then I can go faster. If I was going to make it the entire 26 miles, I couldn't go at a full-out sprint. I needed a break. Stocks are the same way. Nothing moves in a straight line forever. No matter how much higher this market is ultimately going to go.
Nothing moves in a straight line forever.
Nothing moves in a straight line. This market could go higher, or I'm talking about long term. Months. It could go. Who knows?
Yeah.
Or it could start correcting in August and September, and that could turn into something much nastier. So right now, we want to be cool, keep our heads about us, and we don't want to buy Meta just because the stock is up and everybody's talking about it the day before earnings, or we might
That's a rookie mistake, trading over earnings.
Yeah, or we might get Tesla to Microsoft immediately after it happens.
Yeah.
That's not the plan. Again,
that's straight gambling, trading over the earnings for sure. You don't know what's going to happen. There's
a lot of great options plays that we've been involved in these markets lately with a lot of different companies, whether, big ones, little ones. Matter of fact, we just put an option strategy together yesterday for a stock that had earnings. And even though the stock is down, we're still making money on the thing.
Come on, man.
Yeah, we're still making money on the stock, even though it's down, because that's the option strategy that we constructed. Now,
come on, man.
If you're not in the Discord,
going more about that, make sure y'all join the Discord to find out more information.
And if you're not in the Legion, get in there now. Get in there as soon as you can, because you want to watch us do live trading tomorrow, which is going to be centered around Federal Reserve activity. The Fed is going to announce an interest rate hike tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. That will be a market moving type of an event, up, down, or sideways, but up or down. Things will move. We'll be there trading futures live. We'll show you. Plus, we've got another trader town hall coming up tomorrow in our Discord. That's 4:15. We do that every Wednesday. It's a great little discussion. And then for our Legion members, every Thursday for about an hour and a half, we kick it by the analytical fireside, roll up our sleeves, dig into this thing, and really rip this market apart to our advantage. And we want every single one of you to be with us for that.
For sure. Yo, come on. Thank you, Romulus. I really appreciate your insight, man. And I will see you in the Discord.
Looking forward to it, friend. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.
Same to you, man. Listen, join the Discord. If you want to learn more about trading, if you want to learn more about investment stocks, I have free courses in there too. Like on other stuff, I have free. We have how many free courses we got in there now? It's like,
if you got the high value alpha baller
course,
you got the
baller mindset, of course.
And I'm pretty sure you got like a couple of more from
I got a few
the high value alpha.
Yeah. I don't even remember because what I've been doing is taking back the old programs that I used to sell and just repackaging them and putting them in for free in the Discord. Stuff that people paid for, y'all getting for free, right? Because I'm already rich. All right. Speaking of rich, do we have any super chats? Any super chats that need to be answered? Remember, guys, all your super chats go to the research and development of Thot Repellent. Coming to stores near you. Thot Repellent. All your super chats go to research and development. You're gonna need this when you start balling and making all this money, man. They're gonna be all over you. They'll be all over you.
We have Gabriel back.
Big Gabe, what up?
Hola, Brandon. What is your relationship like with your siblings? Do they help out when you had to work all those jobs in your 20s? I love my siblings, but I feel like I don't spend much time with them.
I'm the youngest of my siblings. So I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters. It's some real ghetto shit though. Like none of us have the same 2 parents. Like my parents were in like other relationships and marriages before when they had my brothers and sisters. Then they got married and had me. And I was the only child who could keep the family together. You know what I'm saying? I became the nucleus. And so one of my brothers, I ain't never met him because the chick told him, his mama told him that someone else was his dad. That's too bright. I can't do it. Sorry. So I ain't never met that dude, but I know he exists. I have an older brother who I'm cool with. I was kicking it with him in Vegas, and I had 2 sisters. One of them I'm cool with. The other one I don't speak to because she yelled at me once. She raised her voice at me, man. She started yelling at me, man. I was like, I don't need this negative energy, and I ain't really talked to her since. It's not like animosity. I just ain't need that shit. And then she said some wild shit to my mom too. And we got different moms. I was like, man, fuck this hoe. I don't know her. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know this bitch like that. We didn't grow up together or no shit. But it was cool. Like they did not help out. Like my one of my sisters, if I ever need her, I know she's there, and my other brother, I didn't talk to him. We didn't speak for a long time because of something that I don't want to talk about, you know. But I guess to answer your question, I was grinding. That was a long way to say it. Like, yeah, during that time, I was just grinding, man. I wasn't really on that shit. They know. Me and my brother, we don't talk every day or a lot, but it's okay because he's like me. Like, he'll focus and go hard. And when we see each other, there ain't no animosity or nothing. It's like, oh yeah, man, what's up? Because we're cut from the same cloth. I don't know if I answered the question or not. I said a lot of words though, and that's something.
There was one part of the question that he asked if your siblings helped out with all your jobs.
No, I mean, how could they, right? I mean, we were all in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? We were all kind of in the same boat, and they had kids. I was the only one who didn't have kids at that time, you know. So like, I kind of took it upon myself to make this shit happen, you know. And I was only in contact with the one sister. You know, she had a son, and you know, I was. It was more like I was there for them during that time period. Ain't shit changed either.
We have Blackjack Mastery back.
Big Blackjack Mastery with the 50 piece. You know what it is.
Facebook ads.
All right.
Today to drive traffic to IG. How much would you spend on ads in the early stages? Would you test different ads and copywriting? What about target audience? Hoping to increase conversions. Thanks, BBC. Alex from Miami.
All right. So, you know, so you're doing Facebook ads. It's difficult for me to answer those questions exactly because I would need to know your CPA. I would need to know. Okay, no. So, okay, here's the thing. We talked about this before. We need to know what your, we need to know your lifetime value of your customer. Like, what is that? Like, how much does the customer work for you over the duration of your relationship with that customer, right? And all it has to do is, and then we need to know what your CPA, we need to work on this, right? Like, so CPA's cost is, not CPA. Sorry, let me erase this. I'm gonna make it simpler for you, all right? I'm gonna make it simple for you because I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, but I can tell by your question that it's kind of like you're new to this. You say you just started, right? And that's okay, right? It's good to be a novice. Like what you need to know is I would have to know more about your service, right? Like maybe you could type a follow-up question, type of answer, like how much does it charge to work with you? Are you doing, is it one-time calls? Is it a monthly thing? Like I need more information. I need more information. For example, let me give you an example, right? I had I'm thinking of I'm trying to think of like an example, like one of somebody I ran ads for. Okay, I'll talk about. So there's one campaign I did for someone. We were looking for something called. This guy had a $5,000 course. He a $5,000 course.
Brandon, there's more info.
Oh, what's up?
Sports Picks Business subscriptions.
Oh, so it ranges.
$7.99.
$9.90. Okay, so let's just say it's subscriptions. So it's $9.99. Let's just go with the minute. So okay, so you know that your monthly recurring revenue per customer, your monthly recurring revenue per customer is going to be at least $199. All right, cool. That's good to know. All right. So theoretically, what I would do if you're just starting, right? You got to see what your conversion, and you got to try to try to break even on the first month, right? You can spend up to $199 per conversion. So you got to optimize your ads for conversion. Like, I don't even know. The thing is, I don't even know if you can really, like, you might get your Facebook ad. Nima, can he run?
So what he said is he's bringing traffic to his Instagram.
Oh, okay, so it's awareness campaign. Yeah, I mean, you actually might want to be careful, man, because if they see that you're running shit to a ad campaign, you might get your fucking account banned. This is what I want you to do right now, Blackbook Siri, is set up as many ad accounts as you can, because I think it might be just a matter of time before you get your first ad account banned. And once you get one banned, it's going to be difficult to start a new one. But if you got to set up some backup ad accounts, and you might want to set up a backup ads manager.
The problem is he's going to also have a limit on how many ad accounts he can create.
That's why he has to make another ad manager.
Yeah.
And then max out the ad accounts in that ad manager too. You get what I'm saying? Because I think that's above I think you're like in a gray area, because I know you can't run ads to gambling. I know you can't. You're in a weird position, Blackjack Master.
I mean, can do what they do for the CBD stuff, blog stuff.
Yeah. Okay. So it's gonna be okay. So what you could do, something like this. You can like write like a blog post, right? Boom. I still don't even know how to do this with something that you can't sell, right? Because gambling, you can't run ads to gambling.
What about tutorial on games? How games are played? Education.
I think it's in a gray area, bro. Fuck. Yo, I mean, honestly, I think you're in like a real gray area. Listen, all right. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I would have told you if you were running a business that Facebook didn't hate. You know what I'm saying? If Facebook wasn't going to ban you, it's like a matter of time before your shit gets banned, right? So what a strategy that we used to run, right, is we would run ads to a blog post, right? I did this with the supplement line, right? We did with Bro Labs. We did an ad to a blog post, and the blog post would be about something, right? About how to build muscle, right? It'll be about how to build muscle, right? Maybe it's a video ad, maybe not. Just ad, we would test, right? And then we would retarget the page views, people who viewed that page, with a conversion ad. Right? So the first ad, I learned this from my homie Ezra Firestone, right? So the first ad would be just to view. The conversion would be like just views. We just wanted people to no, it would be website clicks. That's what we do. Website clicks. Boom. Then the blog posts, and then the retargeting would be only the people. We'd only hit these people with the conversion ads who hit the blog post. The reason that makes more sense, because if you try to do cold conversion ads, it's difficult, right? But if you hit a warm audience with it, then you're more likely to get the sale. And then we started doing another strategy, right? This is what I got from my boy Kevin Hodo, right? Where he would come up, we would have like 4 levels. So we had level 1, and it would just be a video ad, and the conversion we would use was just video views. No, we wasn't trying to get a conversion. We weren't trying to get them to buy anything. We were just actually promoting a video. Right? We just video views. Boom. That would be ad number 1. And then we would retarget people who watched that ad. This strategy still works. We retarget people who watched, only the people who watched 30 seconds. If you watch 30 seconds of that ad, of that, it wasn't even an ad, it was just a video, like information, right? If you watch 30 seconds of that, you would get number 2. Boom. And if you watch 30 seconds of that, you would get video 3. This strategy works really well because if you optimize for video views, it's like super cheap. You can do it like for it could be like 1 cent a view or less sometimes, right? Especially if the video is good and it's engaging, right? And you optimize for video. Now this might work for you, right? Something like this, and you can do it to an Instagram video. If he's just talking about he can't be talking about betting though. He's got to be talking about sports and who he thinks is gonna win. You got to be talking about sports. You know, I don't know. You're gonna be. It's tricky, bro. None of this is advice for you. I don't blame me. And if they watch 30 seconds of video number 3, right? Well, then they done watched 3 videos of me. Then we'd hit them with the conversion ad to get them to buy. But we wait to number 4, video 4. And we noticed that was way more profitable. We only hit people with the buy this now ad after they watched 3 videos in a short amount of time, right? You have to have watched all 3. Then it's a warmer audience. That motherfucker is more ready to buy, and it was way easier. And this would be to cold audiences, right? You know? Yeah, yeah. But the problem is what you got going on is, I strongly believe what you're doing is against Facebook's terms. Against Meta's terms. I got to think about this a little bit more. I got it. Nima, can you remind me tomorrow? I'm Blackjack Master. You show up every week. You gave $50. I'm going to ask some people, and I'm gonna get some people I know who like run millions of dollars of ads per year. You know, and I'm gonna see. Like I do millions of ads, but only for like my shit and people in the fitness industry who I've worked with. I've never ran ads to gambling because I don't think you can. Like I'm surprised your shit's not banned now. I gotta check on that. Sorry, Blackjack Mastery. We're gonna figure this out for you though, bro. You show up every week. Let's give Blackjack a hand. I think you need to keep doing what I said do though. Is like shout outs. Because Meta has nothing to do with that. Pay for shout outs. I'm telling you. That shit works, bro. Yeah. What else? What we got?
Journey. BBC, what up, G?
All right.
I'm doing D2D roofing sales in Texas for a company.
Mm.
I've been doing decent for 6 months of my D2D career. Storms every year and a lot of competition. Any advice with D2D sales?
Door-to-door sales. That shit is that. Well, here's the thing. That's going to help build your skill set in sales. It's really going to build your skill set. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of you for doing it. And if you've been doing decent, that's fantastic because door-to-door sales is like one of the hardest things you could do. You know, in 2019, I needed to make a lot of money. I needed to make it fast. I can't tell you why, but shit hit the fan. It was pre C19, and I needed to make a lot of money quick. So I started doing sales calls again. You know, it was for my own products, right? But you know, it was like, all right, let's go. You know, let's do it. And this is a strategy I've always implemented when it's like crunch time like that. And I taught this to my sales team, and they every time they fucking do it, they start making more money, but then they stop doing it because, you know, people, that's how humans are. Right? But I call it the total emergence strategy. So what you want to do is you need to get 2 pair waterproof headphones, waterproof earbuds. I don't care what brand you use. I like the Beats by Dre joints, the Beats joints, the earbuds, they're waterproof, right? And there's a reason it's waterproof. Because as soon as you wake up, you start listening to sales training, audiobooks on sales. I mean, immediately upon waking up, you put that in. So while you're brushing your teeth, while you shower, shave, that's why they're waterproof, right? While you're eating breakfast, while you're getting dressed, on your commute, you're listening to sales training. The reason you have 2 pair, because when one dies, you need to put the other one in and start charging the dead one. And every time you're not in a sales call, you're listening to sales training. I'm telling you, there's no faster way to learn this stuff. I mean, to get really good at it, because what's going to happen is the repetition is going to be in you and not on you. Like you'll start to, you're literally living and breathing it. So when even during the day, you're not on a sales call. You're not on a call. While you're eating your lunch, you're listening to sales trainings. While you're in the gym, you're listening to sales trainings. On your commute, you're listening to sales trainings. Why if you shower at night and you're doing your night routine, you're listening to sales trainings. Like every time you're not with your girl or your kids or in a sales call, you need to be listening to sales training. There's only 3 times you shouldn't be listening to sales trainings. When you're with your wife or girlfriend, when you're with your kids, or when you're actually in a sales call. Otherwise, no TV for you, PG Journey. You listen to sales trainings. I'm not bullshitting. I mean, do this shit, and it's like people don't believe me when I say it, but I know why. Because when you start doing shit at like a real high level, it gets to a point where like people just can't believe it, right? But my close rate was 80%. It was over 80%. And now, mind you, I had been doing sales my whole life, right? And my dad was an expert salesman, so I had expertise, right? But I was so good. It almost felt like after like 2 months of this shit, it's like the game slowed down. It's like I had so much confidence because I wasn't thinking about what to say. I just knew what to say. It was in me, not on me. Pause. And and every time one of my sales team do, when I remind them that this is something they should be doing all the time, their sales spike up. So that's what I would do, man. It's the total immersion sales strategy. Everybody who does sales should do it. Everyone who's in the sales should do it. And this way, you're actually getting sales all day. You're getting sales training all day. Because when you're not, you're either listening to it or you're doing it. And then you can do the shit right after you hear it, right? Like you learn some shit today in the morning, you can implement that shit on your next sales call, right? And that really helps with retention. Yeah. Get at a shot, PG Journey. Report back to me right now. Stop what you're doing. Buy 2 pair of waterproof earbuds. I recommend the Beats. The Beat Sports joints.
We have Mav. How do you delay instant gratification? I know it's discipline. I'm disciplined with working long hours and gym and nutrition, but some addictions, habits, I haven't yet been able to be disciplined.
You got to have the list. Oh man, it's super easy. So if you're trying to develop more discipline, what you need, man, is the list of hate. You need the list of hate and the list of great. No. Whatever. Take it off my screen. Right? You're going to list of hate and list of great. My handwriting is all fucked up. Fuck this shit. List of hate and list of great. Right in your phone. All right. Put it down in your phone. Oh, sorry. Put it in your phone. The list of hate, list of great. The list of hate is everybody who's crossed you, everybody who's talked shit about you, everybody who's done you wrong. Write that list down. And every time you don't feel like doing what you're supposed to do, or if you feel like indulging in those vices, look at that list of hate and imagine how happy your haters would be if you fell off because you did this shit. Just imagine it, and that's going to motivate you, to give you that boost of motivation, that you might need to attack your goals at that time. But look at it every morning, and anytime you feel like you want to indulge in a vice, break out that list of hate. Then you have the list of great. The list of great is, imagine a version of yourself who's already accomplished all of your goals and everything you want in life. Make a list of all the attributes that person would need in order to accomplish that goal, right? Make it get detailed with it, right? What time does that person wake up? Does that person indulge in those addictions and those habits those bad habits that you have, right? What does that person do when he has the urge to indulge in those habits? How does he behave? And look at that list every morning, right? And what's going to happen is over time, every time that you act in accordance with your list of great, you're going to get like a dopamine hit. You're going to get like, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to actually be more proud of yourself, and it becomes addictive. You know what I'm saying? It becomes addictive. You'll start to feel better about yourself. You get what I'm saying? And over time, you won't need discipline anymore because you'll actually want to act in accordance with your list of great. You'll start to feel good about yourself when you're acting in accordance with what you put on that list of great. You'll start to enjoy actually cultivating those attributes that you wrote on your list of great. And you'll start to despise doing things that would make the haters win. You know what I'm saying? And with repetition, what's going to happen is you won't even need to look at it, you know, because you're gonna want to act in accordance with that list of great, right? You're gonna want to make sure you shit on the haters. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes I don't want to wake up when my alarm goes off at 4:30. You know what I'm saying? But it's I can't let the haters win. You know what I'm saying? I can't let the haters win. Fuck that shit, you know, because if they were hating on you, if they said you couldn't do something and you don't do it, was it hate or was it just an accurate assessment of your capabilities? The onus is on you to prove them right or to prove them wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do one more, then we're gonna get one more super chat, then we're gonna go into the next segment.
We have Cheesy Beast.
Big Cheese.
I work 14 hours per day. Should I continue to go to the gym if it affects my levels of sleep?
Listen, you don't understand. Listen, man. Listen, Cheesy Beast. First of all, I like to applaud you for putting in that amount of work. That's a fact, man, because, you know, I've been pushing this narrative that, like, listen, if you're not where you need to be, you need to work hard. And, you know, some people push against that, but there used to be a time when men, you know, took pride in working hard, being hard workers and going for it, you know, being providers, you know. But now we're in an age of indulgence where everybody just wants to party and bullshit. You know, I applaud that you're trying to work more. Yeah, I think if you know, you got to find a way to make it work for you. You got to work out somehow. And if it's not going to the gym, it doesn't have to be going to the gym. You know, one thing I was doing when I was putting in that work like that on days, you know, I would work out with my clients when I was training them. Right. But if I couldn't, but I also had some dumbbells at the crib. I've always had like a way to work out at the crib. Even now, right? If I can't get to the gym, I can wake up and at least do pull-ups. I had some dumbbells where I can get, you know, do bench press rows. You want to be doing something. Oh, you know what? I got you. Yo, Cheesy Beast, I got you. Yo, I have not been paid to endorse this shit. I have not been paid to endorse this shit. I'm not even going to send you an affiliate link because I don't even got one. It's hold on. This shit right here. Hold up. Yo, this shit right here. The X3 bar. Yo, you can get a good workout with this shit, man. No, like, no bullshit. X3 bar. So it's like these, it's bands, but it has this fucking thing. I know the guy who invented it. And I like it a lot. Like there's times that I work out with this. Dude, I was traveling with this shit until TSA took my bar when I guess it looked like a weapon. They only took it in Atlanta. They didn't take it in, whatever. But that's when I stopped traveling with it. But yo, I really like this thing. There's times where I need to just wake up and work out real quick, get a quick workout. And I'm happy with that, right? So if you don't get that, get some sort of equipment to work out at home. And even if it's just 30 minutes a day, man, you don't want to sacrifice that. All right. Let's do one more, then we'll do the next segment. Sorry.
We have, let's do this one. Okay. Right. We have Tessa. How did you maintain the relationships you had with your friends during the time you were building your business?
That's a good question. How did I maintain the relationships I had with my friends when I was building the business? That wasn't a priority for me, and it wasn't like I was sacrificing the friend. I just didn't hang out with them that much, but they knew I was on the grind. Like they knew what I was on. And it's like during those times, you kind of see who your real friends is. Like you should be able to go hard for a period of time and not lose your friendships if they're real friendships. You get what I'm saying? Like I have some friends, we may not see each other for years, but when we see each other, we pick up right where we left off. You get what I'm saying? It's I never had these codependent relationships with friends. Now, if one of them needed me for something, if they want to need my help and they would hit me up, I'd find a way to make that work. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like just kicking it or just hanging out and doing shit, like during those times, man, I wasn't really doing much of that, And you know what? As a result, Tessa, most of my friends now, if not all of them, we kind of get money together. You know what I'm saying? Like we get money together in some capacity, but I don't think it was like that initially. I think it evolved into those kind of relationships because the people who weren't trying to go down the same path as me, we're going in different directions anyway. You get what I'm saying? And I had some friends that, we did lose touch. I think now that I think about it, we lost touch because I started getting success and then more success and more success and more success. And then it gets to the point where it's like, I can't even talk about myself when I'm around them sometimes, right? Because it feels like I'm bragging or it's like I'm gonna make them, it's like I'm shitting on them almost, right? This motherfucker worried about gas prices and I'm buying I just bought a fucking $2,000 watch. This motherfucker's all about, man, gas is expensive, man. The price at $200,000 watch. I just got a $100,000 watch. And this motherfucker worried about eggs being expensive. And it's like, I have sympathy for him. So I can't even, you start hearing like slick shit like, oh, must be nice. Oh man, I could do that if I had this, man. Oh man, shit, man. Well, it's easy for you. Okay, they start like side slick, saying little slick shit to diminish your greatness. A lot of them will do that, or even if they don't do that, it's like, man, I can't even. I gotta diminish my shine to even fuck with you. And like the shit that it gets to it's gonna get to a level, Tessa, where it's like y'all can't even relate to each other. You know what I'm saying? That shit is weird, man. Or like they still start feeling weird. They start feeling weird around you because you so successful. That shit happens too. Or, the worst part is when they feel like you should do shit for them now that you're successful. It is like, of course I'm gonna help my friends, but when they have an entitlement, like, yo, Brandon ain't doing enough for me. You see that a lot. Like that's actually becomes kind of common. But those are people you don't want in your life anyway. You know what I'm saying? The people who are supposed to be in your life, the people who you really want in your life, will ride with you when you're going through that season. You know what I'm saying? They understand. I don't think you want someone in your life who doesn't respect the fact that you're working hard. Right? I don't want no one in my life like that. You know what I'm saying? So they'll, the right people will present themselves, will will make their presence felt, and the wrong people will, they'll filter themselves out. You know what I'm saying? Then you'll be left better. Hey, then you'll be balling. You might, and if you go hard, you might be able to ball as hard as our second baller of the week. We got two. I couldn't pick one this week. Baller of the week again. Ball of the week. Now, the first one I gave early in this is 2 balls of the week this week. It's my podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want, bro. I can do whatever I want. I can start dancing. You know what I'm saying? I can start freestyling. It don't matter. It's my shit. All right. So I can have 2 ballers a week sometimes. And today's one of those days. Jaylen Brown from the fucking Boston Celtics. All right. And the reason he just got signed a new contract extension, $304 million supermax for the richest deal in NBA history. You know what I'm saying? Now, hold on, take it off here. I got something I want to show them. Right? Why does that? Why should he get ball of the week from that? Just for that? That don't seem like enough. Let me show you why. Because remember, I talked about the list of hate earlier and how powerful it is to like use your haters as advantage, right? So check this out. Jaylen Brown, after this shit gets reported, boom, richest in history. Look what he writes, man. My teacher said she will look me up in the Cobb County jail in 5 years. Wow. Yo, he held on to that shit. Teacher who said that shit, he held on to that. That's what I'm talking about. The list of hate, man. It's powerful. It's powerful. If you can take the negativity, it makes you invincible. It actually makes you stronger. You take the negative energy, and instead of like yelling at these person or punishing them or fucking them up, whipping their ass, you take that negativity. It's energy, right? You take that energy and transmute it into accomplishing your goals. Boom. And it not only makes you stronger, it makes you invincible. Right. So now when one of these little assholes thinks he's gonna like come up on the YouTube algorithm by making a fucking video talking shit about me, I just like, this stuff hate. And he's made me stronger. He don't even know he made me stronger because he's too stupid and retarded to understand it. You know what I'm saying? He made me stronger. When one of these motherfuckers make a 40-minute videos about how much I suck, I'm just like, yes. Yes. I will ball harder on this motherfucker. I'm gonna give him something to hate. Right. And Jaylen took that's yo, he held on to this. He could have just forgot about it. Now, a lot of times when I hear it, when I say this, people's like, oh, do it for yourself, not the haters. The haters are living rent-free in your head. Shut up. You think if you type that shit, fuck you, I'm gonna put you on the list. You on my list now. You just made the list, bitch. All right. You look at the list of hate every day and you understand it's going to help you work harder, right? It's going to help you work harder. You know what I'm saying? It's very, it's very, very, very important, man. It's not, I even heard the homie, what's the dude? Tommy Quest Bar. He made the Quest Bar Impact Theory dude. You know what I'm talking about? The Quest Bar dude, man. Yeah, Tom Brule. He all positive as shit, but I heard him say that same thing, man. He keep a list of people who talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I heard Oprah say, she was saying Frank Sinatra's quote, where she said, the best revenge is massive success. Oprah be like teaching positivity and the law of attraction and shit. And even she, man, is talking about using the hate to your advantage, right? This way you take something that's negative that was meant to hurt you and use it to help you, right? So it's not about the haters living rent-free in your head. It's more about you using that energy to make yourself better. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. You're taking what was supposed to hurt you and using it to your advantage. The obstacle is the way. Shout out to Jaylen Brown for fucking proving my point. I think we got some super chats.
We do.
Uh-huh.
We have Ali Star.
Uh-huh.
Just sending out money.
Just send it. Hey, man, hey, listen. Shout out to you, Ali Stern.
Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jerome with an H.
Jerome in the house.
HTT represent. Thank you, brother. Keep pushing.
Come on, you know what it is. Shout out to you.
We have the 1%.
Mm-hmm.
Just hit my first 6-figure year halfway through.
Come
Adopting your
on.
mindset has truly changed my life. I'm grateful for you, brother. See you in September.
Let's go. That's what we doing here, man. That's what the Victory Unit is all about. That's why we do this shit. Join the Discord, man. Let's go.
And with Blackjack saying thank you with another 50.
I was doing my best to give him some games. Shout out to Blackjack. We got another. Now, when you start balling, you might want to start buying stuff. All right, you might not know what to buy. That's why we have the segment "Cool Shit That I Bought on Amazon." One of the cool shits I buy on Amazon is I really love this shit. It's called KetoAid. I drank some before this, right? KetoAid. As you can see, man, I fucking bought it recently for just 4 times. Like I buy this shit all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm not endorsed by this company. I do know the owner, right? But I know him because I reached out because I liked it so much. But they don't pay me nothing. In fact, you can see I actually buy the shit. You know what I'm saying? I bought it recently. Sometimes they do send me shit though, and it's cool. Yo, all right. So let me tell you something. You don't need to be on keto to appreciate. I just heard it. The fuck? Oh, Shorty brought it in. Yeah, this shit right here, fantastic. All right, you don't need to be on keto to appreciate this, right? What it does is when you're in ketosis, it's because your body's producing ketones and your brain loves to run on ketones. Like there's something about ketones that make you have a different kind of mental clarity, a different type of focus and energy. And you can actually take this at any time, even if you take carbs, right? And still get the advantage of ketones. And what I notice when I take this, man, it reduces my hunger, right? It makes me more focused and it just gives me like a natural energy. I fucking love it. It tastes like garbage though. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let me find hold on, man. I gotta find it. Let me find a clip. I want to pause that. I want to share something with you, man. Hold on. I think because Joe Rogan was talking about this shit. And I think you should see this shit. Hold on. If I can find this shit, hold up. Hold up. Give me 1 second. Bear with me. I can't find the clip. But Joe Rogan said it tastes awful. And he's right. He said he liked it. I never had a fucking gorilla. I never tasted gorilla piss. But I would imagine this is what it tastes like. But yo, the feeling you get on this shit is fucking fantastic. I just give it a shot. Give it a shot. All right. And I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it. It improves performance. There's a lot of studies behind it. And I'm not paid to endorse that shit. I just really like it. You know what I'm saying? I just really, really like it. It gives me more energy, more mental focus. And I've heard it works if you're not on the ketogenic diet as well. I don't have experience with that, but that's what I've heard. But there might be some other stuff you want to buy. Some of you guys might want to buy books. You might want to buy books. And that's why we do a segment called the Book of the Week. Book of the Week. Hold on, let me bring it up. I didn't do it fast enough. Give me a second, man. But this is a good one. I read this book recently. I'm gonna share this with you. I'm excited to share this with you. Second. Okay. Book of the week. This is a book I read recently called Feeling Good by Dr. David D. Burns. All right. And you can see the amount of reviews it has. Hey, man, that's a lot. That's a lot. And for those of you guys who know me, you heard me speak for a while. If you've been following me during the time, you may know that I have bipolar 2, right? So every once in a while, I may feel like my life sucks. You know what? Going through a bipolar episode, depressive episode of bipolar, I imagine it's how like your girl feels when she's on her period. You know how like she thinks that like the fucking world is falling apart and she's like sad for no reason sometimes. Like imagine that for like, you know, maybe a few weeks. and it happens every once in a while for me, right? But I'm aware of it. And the last time I was going through one of those, I still function, right? Most people around me don't really detect it. And I still function. Last time I was going through that, I was in the airport once and I came across this book in one of the airport fucking bookstores. And then I do what I always do. And I searched on Amazon first to see the reviews. I'm like, oh, this book seems kind of cool. So I bought it and I read it. And yo, this shit is dope. Like, honestly, there was shit in this book that I read and I did that really made me feel better. And this is coming from someone who has like literally has bipolar, suffers from bipolar my whole life. I don't take any medication for it, because my therapist says I don't need to. He says I manage it pretty well. But this book is a new tool in my arsenal for managing my bipolar. But I think it'll be good for any of you guys. Like any of you guys, like most of you motherfuckers be sadder than me and you don't even have no shit going on, right? Like if you really want to improve your mood and improve the way you feel about life, I highly recommend this book, man. Honestly, it was super, super good. And it helped me when I went through a pretty dark time, man. It was I found it super helpful. And people always talk about, man, I just want to be happy. I want to be happy. Well, why don't you fucking take it seriously? Why don't you study what makes you happy? You know what I'm saying? This book I found super helpful. I have it all marked up and book-eared and all that other shit. Like I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. It's one of the best books I read this year, for sure. Check it out. I think you got the link in the description. I'm gonna give you the link for the KetoAid too, so you can put that in the description. I'm sending that to you, man, because they might be wanting to know. That. All right. Oh, and it's 9:00, man. Is there any super chats that we need to address?
No super chats, but Blackjack did ask, should he email your team or wait for the next podcast?
Yeah, honestly, probably wait for the next podcast. Or if you're in the Discord, I'm probably gonna be in there. I'll be in there. Maybe we can figure something out.
Oh, we have one more from KJ.
What's up, KJ?
I'm thinking about getting into high ticket sales.
All right.
Right now I'm doing e-commerce as a side hustle. Do you think I should do both or focus on one?
Well, I think you should focus on one because to get really good at something, you got to put in a lot of hours like we talked about before. And if you're splitting your hours between two unrelated things, then it literally doesn't add up. It doesn't compound, right? But if you spend all your time on one of those things, you get better faster. You get what I'm saying? You get better faster. I think that's super important, man. Listen, guys, we've had a lot of fun here. We laughed, we cried, we learned a lot, probably forgot a lot too. You know what I'm saying? Oh, special announcement. I should have said this in the beginning. Fuck. The Victory Unit is gonna be 2 nights a week now. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you tune in. You know what I'm saying? And join the Discord. Join the Discord. We in there. Learn how to get some money. You got free courses in there. Download the Baller Mindset course. It's free. 100% free. And we will see you on Thursday. Blackjack. I'm gonna have an answer for you on Thursday, bro. Don't even trip. Just remind me though, because I'm gonna forget. But I'll have the answer. All right, y'all. Peace.